welcome one and all to this week's Chroma Team Roundtable. This one is going to be mostly dedicated towards discussing, analyzing, doing a kind of a post-mortem on Friday's market crash. Obviously, we had the biggest liquidation event in crypto history. It was orders of magnitude greater than the FTX collapse and the COVID crash combined, even. I think it was like 7 or 8x the amount of liquidations, if not more, of those crashes combined. We had like $19 billion in liquidations reported, and probably 3 or 4 times that went unreported by both CEXs and DEXs. So yeah, a bit of an unprecedented situation. So we're gonna delve into that, kind of look at what happened, look at I guess maybe how we should be looking at the market after an event like that, and maybe some advice for guys who took a hit last week. I also want to talk about the Whale Insider. I know that some of you had some very hot takes on who that was, how they were positioned, and how they have acted since then. I saw that he opened a short yesterday evening, and that short was up last time I checked a few million. I can't remember exactly how much. And then I also just want to touch on our Q4 predictions. That's something that we spoke about, if not last, I think it was last week actually. I'm just wondering, have anyone's predictions changed in light of what happened on Friday? So with that, I'm going to kick things off with Trader Tim. Tim, how are you viewing the market after Friday's crash? First of all, I hope you're doing all right. I know that you took a very small hit, nothing too major, thankfully. How are you? How have you been looking at the market in the days since then? And like, what was your immediate reaction after you saw all the crazy candles we got to the downside?
I think that my viewpoint is less skewed than most because this is definitely not my first rodeo. I've seen several dumps, not quite of this magnitude. I've never seen anything quite like it as far as altcoins go. But I mean, you could definitely look at BTC, Ethereum, Solana, the ones that didn't have the crazy dump offs like most alts. Some alts went completely to zero. That's insane. But like you can look at the majors, a lot of the majors, and kind of have a feel for what you might need to look forward to expect in the coming weeks and months. In my experience, this looks like a technical bounce, and I'm not going to marry that idea. You're going to see people talking about how this was a huge bounce. It's not coming back, and it's a V-shaped recovery. You're gonna hear people say the wicks got to fill, which is what I think. And you're going to see people say that we can range sideways. It can be a combination of one or the other. But in my experience, you can't marry any one bias, right? You have to wait for things to settle. You can't just jump in there because price bounced back 15, 20, 30% in one day. You're going to have that, especially after a crazy move like we just had, right? So I'm sort of playing it by ear, but overall the trend has been down. The top that we just experienced on Bitcoin made sense, totally made sense. If I could brag a little if I didn't get stopped out by $100 on my BTC short. But I was shorting BTC at the top levels, and I was calling for the potential downside that came. Now, I didn't expect it to come how it came, but I expected it to come nonetheless. So I was not surprised by having a sell-off whatsoever. Um, you know, no one can predict what happened. All we can do is try to preach risk management to help you guys practice it better if you were affected by this. Um, your mental health is important. And I think that, uh, if you did not have a handle on risk management before, I don't want to use the words wake up call because that sounds a little harsh, but I don't know exactly how else to say it. Like this is that, right? This is your chance to bounce back, um, to really get a handle on how you're going to manage your risk in the future, so this can never happen to you again. Um, it's terrible what I've heard, the stories I've heard from traders that I know, and they seem so solid. It can happen to anyone if you're not careful. So there's not a lot of it's all a joke. It's all fun and games in this space. Everything's a meme. Everybody jokes all the time. So I stand by what I said last Friday. If you're still affected by this and you're not mentally there, my DMs are always open, guys. Okay. Um, that's one of the reasons we're all here. It's not just to post our ideas, thoughts, and analysis. It's also to help you overcome your mental challenges in regards to trading. I mean it. Like if you guys need to talk, like even if it's not just about trading, I've had people in my DMs that have other things going on in their lives that they think may be affecting their trading. And if it's personal, like I don't care. Like I really don't. If you're having a hard time mentally, reach out to somebody before you let it get too far, before you get too deep. Okay. And I'll try my best to help you get a handle on it. But as far as the market goes, I think we just have to wait, guys. It's just a patience game. We can go sideways for a month or two, right? And then we can just launch straight to the heavens. Or this could be the start of a bear market and we get more Trump China tariff news and we get further down. I'm not saying the alt wicks that are insane are going to fill. I'm just saying that the chance is there for more downside. And I fully expect that it's possible for BTC to fill its wick, Solana to fill its wick, Ethereum to fill its wick. So if that happens, then I'm looking around those wicks for range plays. You may have saw what I posted in my corner when I shorted BTC the other day when BTC was taking what I think could be a range high. It was the technical bounce that bounced to the high that formed on BTC is what could be considered a range high, and the wick could be considered a range low. So I'm gonna look to that for how I'm gonna play alts. I'm not gonna rush into any altcoin positions until I feel like I have a better read on Bitcoin. And that's pretty much it for me, guys. Nothing crazy, no crazy takes or anything. It's just a wait and see approach more than anything. And I know that's not what you guys want to hear, but it's what I feel is smart. And I'll post trades as I see them come.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a very reasonable take. I'm seeing so many guys on the timeline who are convinced, very high conviction posts like, oh, the bottom is definitely in, or absolutely not. That was just a warning sign. That flash crash is a sign of things to come. I mean, I think there are certain things you can say for sure. Like, you mentioned alts literally going to zero. Like, Atom went to like 0.001, right? Like Firecoin went to like 9 cent. Like that shit was like $2 and something, or was it 180 or something? Just a couple of months ago. Like there were some pretty crazy wicks down on alts. Mostly due to what I understand is like market makers removing liquidity from a lot of order books, which just resulted in sells going into books that had no buyers to catch price. So I think a lot of those wicks are, I don't want to say safe, but I don't think you should be putting your buy orders below that fart coin wick, after it's already moved 4x off the lows, right? I'm not sure is that what we're gonna get or that's what you should be expecting. But there are plenty of coins like, yeah, like I think something I mentioned is that I really thought that Bitcoin and ETH were, they were going to fill up at least a part of their wicks to the downside. And something that we probably could expect is some chop over the rest of the month. People like to assume that the automatic response to a big nuke like that is a V-shaped reversal and like possibly even new highs. But actually, what happens more often than not is that you get just a degree of market uncertainty and the market chops around for a bit before picking a direction. We actually saw that exact same thing at the market bottom in summer 2021, right? Like we had this huge liquidation event in May 2021. Price BTC, it was crazy. I mean, people talk about the craziness of Friday, and don't get me wrong, it was crazy, but like BTC going minus 35% in a day in May 2021. ETH was like minus 60% or something like that. Like alts were similar to Friday. They were all minus 80, minus 90% across the board. And after that event, I mean, we had like chop for 3 months and then price started breaking out to the upside. So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised, not saying that it has to happen again, but I wouldn't be surprised to get uncertain price action somewhat directionalist price action over the next few weeks or even a couple of months, just while people try and make sense of the macro, right? And that's something you mentioned as well. Like obviously Trump and his China tariffs was in many ways the catalyst for what happened on Friday. Um, and we saw like a little bit of a rollback to that position on Sunday, which kind of caused the market or led to the market bouncing a little bit. So there's an uncertain macro situation. I think a few of the traders on the team have kind of touched on that. So I like your approach, Tim. I think it's fairly reasonable. Wait and see. You know, don't jump in with 2 feet before you have all the data to hand. And I think that's a sensible way of approaching it.
Yeah, exactly. And I do intend to scalp. Um, uh, these conditions are usually what I thrive in. I know that sounds crazy, but it's just my trading style fits small ranges over a month or two period of time very well. So I don't want to say I'm excited because what happened was it was bad, right? But in 2021, that dump is where I learned to trade. It's where I learned to be a bear, and it's where I don't want to say born, but it's where I became a profitable trader. So we'll see how it goes, but if it's anything like that, I'm excited for what's to come from my trades. That's all. That's all I got.
Yeah, 100%. Appreciate that, Tim. Jumping over to who said that? Oh yeah, Purdue said he needed to speak earlier. So Purdue, just want to get your take, huh?
Just wanted to be the second one to
You
give
just
my
wanted to be just want to be the silver medal, never the gold.
exactly, exactly.
It just want yeah. So just want to get your take on Friday on the entire thing, on how you've processed it, on what that day was for you, and maybe how you're looking at the market right now.
Yeah, yeah, it was a bit of a dark day, of course. Wait. It was a bit of a dark day for me, of course. It didn't happen to me for a long time, and I got caught red-handed, um, burned my ass to say the least. But yeah, lucky enough, I still have had a lot of BTC that I liquidated and to get started again. So it's just getting back to the grind, and yeah, it is what it is. I think from a TA perspective, I can't share my screen though. Is someone sharing its screen?
I don't think so. Oh, I see that I can't share my screen either. Does anyone know why that is? Any smarties in the chat? Me,
Maybe we have too
Yes.
many videos open. I don't know.
No.
that wouldn't be it, would it?
No, it would never be that.
Oh wait, maybe
Something
here.
to do.
Yeah. Oh, it's working. It's working. It's working.
There we go.
So yeah, basically, like Tim said, yeah, we liquidated a lot of people last Friday, but for now, actually, we're still in this range where we got stuck in for the past fucking 3 months already. So yeah, I think it's not really the time to get bearish again. Like even the retail pattern can play out here, of course, that we chop a little more here. Maybe the shutdown will end somewhere this week and we see some relief back to like, let's say 4,400. Eventually, if you look at this from a ranging perspective, yeah, I mean, everyone got liquidated. I'm sorry, we're not open. Yeah. I'm in a call. Yeah. Everyone got liquidated over here while we're basically currently retesting the range low again. So I think every dip around 3850 at 3900, especially you see these buybacks on the 4 hour already taking place, is a good position to build longs, although it's super scary, of course. But yeah, usually scared money doesn't make any money. So I'm willing to take some risk on me if we get like that final dip again to 3850, let's say 3900, to trade it back, hopefully towards a move to fill this inefficiency over here. And yeah, basically what Tim just touched on as well is that we're still ranging, and every time we have to we're touching on range lows and you think it's going to zero or it's going lower, I think it's a good place here to start building longs again, because it's a never ending range so far, like we have seen this whole cycle already. It's super annoying, but it's true. And I'm not really good in range trading, but if you look at this, it's basically just a flip of this whole resistance level that we held. So yeah, I don't think it's the time to really be bearish here at the moment. And that comes from a guy that got liquidated on Friday, so don't trust me on that one. But I think yeah, it's not the time to be bearish right here, especially with these nice buybacks on the 4-hour.
Who just walked into your office?
No, yeah, it was a guy stand. Yeah, it's the city center of Amsterdam. So, and we have like an old radio in front of our office. So people usually come in and they want to say like, "Oh, that's a nice old radio machine. Can I buy it?" Maybe I had to open the door for him, so I got money to trade again. But yeah, was the
I'm
best
so
offer.
I'm so confused. Yeah.
That's like I can. Yeah.
He came in to buy the silver bracelet, I think.
Yeah, maybe the fake silver bracelet. Yeah.
Or why don't you lock your door? Why do you have random
It's locked.
people?
It's locked, but it was locked. It was locked. But he tried to open the door, so I said, "No, we're not available now."
You just kind of have some random people walking in the background of your live streams.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
no, I appreciate that.
I'm not at the
And
moment.
And maybe another question for you. I know that a coin that you mentioned to me yesterday is FF, which I hadn't heard of. And I know that, you're still very much, even though you took the hit, you're still very much the altcoin guy, the altcoin sniper, and we all look to you for guidance when it comes to all things kind of, let's say, outside the top 200. I'll put it that way. So, I mean,
Yeah,
what alts have your attention now on this bounce? Because obviously we have some really strong altcoins. You had
definitely. Yeah.
we had like Solana looked really good. I was watching like even Ethereum looked really good. Like some of those large caps, even like maybe not so much today and yesterday, but over the weekend, Pulse looked really good. Eno was strong yesterday.
Yeah.
Lots of coins on my watch list looked really good. Fartcoin was like plus 30% or something, and it's like
Yeah.
plus 500% off the lows. What coins have your attention now?
Yeah, I mean, let's not forget that even though we had such a big nuke, there will be new projects, there will be new launches. Like today we had CLO, which is a DeFi project on Psi network, which I think is a really solid team. And you already saw the nice structure forming here since they got listed. But the eyes are not on altcoins at the moment because everyone is licking their wounds at the moment, and there's not much risk appetite in the market. So I first want to see like a sustainable new trend again on BTC and Ethereum before I really start thinking about the newer coins. But for now, we saw a lot of strength on Tao, which has the halving in December. So from a fundamentalist perspective, you still have a lot of altcoins that are holding structure and even made new highs, like for example Tao today. Um, so yeah, from a TA perspective and from an FA perspective, it's really important at the moment to pick the winners and be really picky with your positioning, because there are still some good looking coins as well, like Useless. We all know like Bonkai got liquidated as well for his whole portfolio, but he's still pushing his project, and I think it's really important at the moment to pick the projects that have a bullish catalyst, or you really dig into the newer projects that are launching, because we also have the Monad launch, and I think there are like 30 or 40 projects coming up. I will pick the list in a bit. We have the list in our fundamental analysis section that deserve attention, and I think it's a good time to do some research again on these coins, because there are still many opportunities in the market, but people are still yeah, like I said, licking their wounds and thinking about absorbing the pain they endured during this nuke. So but yeah, we will start our research again in the fundamental analysis channel as well, starting tomorrow again, because I think there are some opportunities building again.
Yeah, I think there are opportunities, and that's probably a good segue to toss the ball over to Jedi. Just talking about opportunities in the market, Jedi. Talking about maybe trying to find value in coins in a market that is uncertain, that just took a hit. A coin that you got me on a couple of days ago actually was four that meme coin, and that shit went like 3 or 4x off the lows. I faded you at my own peril. So I'm just wondering, first of all, the question that I shot to the rest of the panel: how was Friday for you? How have you managed in the aftermath, and what are you looking at now?
Just a quick shout out to Tim. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Tim, and also I think the discipline side and the risk management side of this entire business, I think, is not actually stressed enough. I think it's something that perhaps we need to just maybe talk about a lot more than we do, and it's not anybody's fault. I think it's just something that we don't really focus on a lot. And ever since I met Tim, it feels like 100 years ago, he's always advocated this whole philosophy of manage your risk. And I know that Osbra is also like very strict around that, going break even, and sometimes kind of like kicking yourself that you did go break even because you get wicked out. But those kind of scenarios are actually better to live through than be in a situation that played out on Friday. So I think risk management is something that we all need to reflect upon all the time, whether it's running stuff in a sub account, whether it's trading an isolated margin versus cross margin. The dynamics between those kind of scenarios, I think, are really important. And then also something that I've been kind of like pushing myself towards is like, am I holding myself accountable by journaling my stuff? I mean, there's traders in Chroma that journal religiously, and I still suck at it, and it's something that I need to work on. But journaling is as important as risk management. So to answer your question with regards to Friday, I was fortunately out of trades, but I don't have a bankroll where I'm at risk of getting liquidated. Even though I do trade on leverage, I always have collateral to back me up, and I'm never 100% fully in trades. So I wasn't fortunately in any trades, and I basically watched it all unfold. And even if I had been in trades, I don't think I could have acted fast enough. I don't think I could have moved funds fast enough to actually top up if I needed to. So I honestly don't blame guys like Purdue and the rest who did get liquidated, because shit went down fast, and it was a scenario of a deer in the headlights. I mean, it was really, and I've been in the space for a very long time. I was there in May 2021. I've seen pretty much everything there is to see, but this shit was wild. I mean, the tape on Bitcoin and Ethereum was absolutely through the roof. For those of you who don't know, there's an aggregated website which basically culminates or aggregates all the perps trades on central exchanges. And you can basically see every single trade above, say, $150,000 that comes through. And that thing was like moving at the speed of frickin' sound. It was insane. So I think the most important part of this conversation for me is manage your risk, don't get greedy. And I know that some people ended up getting caught by stops not actually triggering, but I think using stop losses are probably the single most important thing after having a handle on what your risk is and what you prepare to bet and what you prepare to lose. So those are the lessons that I took away. I think even though I am the eternal bull, and I'd love to be in Camp Purdue at the moment, I am feeling a little bit bearish. I'm not enjoying this kind of choppiness that's playing out, but I suppose what can you expect after a $20 billion rinse? That's it from me for that side of things.
Okay, yeah, no, some great advice there, and you hit the nail on the head. Manage your risk, or the market will manage it for you. And I think that's unfortunately been a lesson that guys had to learn the hard way last week. I mean, I've been there before, like 3 or 4 times. I've been like, I can remember so vividly the first time that I got properly zeroed. I was like, my first year trading, I was still figuring out how everything works. I probably had discovered leverage like 3 months before that. And I remember I longed a Binance listing. It was Zen Horizon, that coin that I think Purdue actually longed it recently. It looked really good, but Yeah, along like the Pico. If you look at the chart, if you look at like the high time frame chart and go back, it was like the Pico Schmico top of that move. It never went that high again, and I longed.
Still looks good.
I yeah, I can't remember how much I longed. I longed enough that I got liquidated in 30 seconds, and I just started crying. Like it was like my full stack at the time. I just started crying. Like I was like, how did I lose that much? How am I such an idiot? How did I lose that much money? And I just deleted my apps, man. I just deleted my trading apps. I was like, I'm gonna give up. But thankfully, I kind of came to my senses a few weeks later. But I mean, that was a tough day for me. So my heart goes out to anyone who took a hit last Friday. Like it's the toughest thing in the world to get back from that point because you at a certain point you kind of think, well, how am I going to fucking get back to where I was, and that's something that as well I want to stress to you guys, and we can come around to that point a little bit later in the discussion, about like how traders should be viewing things, or how they should be let's say analyzing things if they took a hit on Friday. But like if you have a number that you were on Friday and now you're substantially below that number, whether you took a 10% hit or a 50% hit or a 90% hit, whatever it was, you need to do your best to cleanse your mind of that number, right? And I don't just mean that in the meme sense, in the GCR sense of cleanse your mind of your peak net worth. I genuinely mean you need to move on from that number, because if you try and make it all back in one trade, you're going to lose everything you have. That at that point you're just going to compound whatever small mistakes that have brought you to this point, and you're going to make even more and an even bigger mistake. So just draw a line under it. Like something I said in my channel is like try and alter the parameters of where you were. So like let's say you had 50K in an account, you got wiped, you lost half that, and it's down. Now your account's down to like 24,976, something like that. Just TP the account, bring it back to 20K, and treat it as a completely new account. It's not the 50K account that you lost half of, right? It's a brand new 20K account, and treat it like that and start trading it like that, right? Draw a line under it, take a break, and let's say next Monday, the 20th of October, that's day one, right? And treat it like that and try and build it up from that. Because I know from experience, if you take a big hit, the first thing you want to do is make it all back, and you'll be in a trade and it's going really well, and like it hits your TP or it goes to a level that you think you might want to take profit, but in your head you're thinking, but if it just keeps going up, then I'm going to make all the money that I lost back, or at least a bigger chunk of it. That is a toxic mentality, and it's going to negatively affect your trading. So my best piece of advice, honestly, is just to try and move on from that number and try and treat things, think of the guys who got wiped for 100% of their stack, right? You're in a better position if you didn't take that hit, and just treat it like that. Treat it like a new trading account, and move on from the figure that you were at last Friday. Appreciate that input though, Jedi. Jumping over to Victor. Victor, how are you looking at things now? How was your experience watching the charts on Friday?
Right. So everything was so crazy to me because it's the first time that I saw something like this. The only thing that's comparable to this is the crash on the 4th of August last year when we had rate hikes from the Bank of Japan, but that doesn't compare to this. I wasn't there for 2021, so it was absolutely insane to me to just scroll through my watch list, see every single altcoin minus 60, 70, 80%. I was watching the 1 second chart on Bitcoin and it was printing 3K candles on the 1 second chart. It was so insane. And this is why anybody that said that they didn't buy the bottom, it was literally impossible. You were playing with so many big guys and so many orders that imagine you were 1 second too late, or you got 1 second delay because you got shitty internet. Boom, instantly the next candle is $3,000 away from where you wanted to buy. So it was impossible. So if you didn't buy, don't shoot yourself in the foot, okay? Just wanted to put that out there. At the same time, I also want to point out that just like Tim said, he said he was bearish, he got stopped from a short. I was bearish, I didn't get filled on my short because I was expecting a rotation back to 110K at least, but I wasn't expecting it so fast. So that caught me off guard as well. And that's why everything was so surprising to me, because I've never seen something like this. And I saw this question in this chat. I got asked this question on Twitch, in Chroma. Why did we dump? Was it only the news from Trump's tariffs that made us dump so much? And yes and no. So it was just the straw that broke the camel's back. It was the thing that burst the bubble, and the bubble was formed by different factors. So we saw how BTC rallied from 110k to an all-time high in the few weeks prior. So everyone was giga bullish. And by everyone, I mean mostly just retail that just came back. Oh, BTC put in a new all-time high. It's all over the news. Parents ask me, oh, did BTC just hit a new all-time high? Is that good for you? That should have been the exact moment that I should have flipped bearish. So we've got all this new influx of people that are long, and they long altcoins because they think, oh, so BTC hit a new all-time high. It started consolidating. It's time for the altcoins to run. So this all generated a massive amount of people that were long on altcoins, and especially people with a lack of experience. So they were long with leverage with no stop losses on isolated margins. So what happens then? If we dump 10%, all the positions that were on 10x leverage get liquidated. Then those positions get liquidated, price drops even lower, minus 20%, all the positions that are on 5x leverage get liquidated, and reach the point where almost every single coin on my watch list was minus 50% or more, which means that literally all leveraged positions, even 2x positions, were liquidated if they were on isolated without a stop loss. So that's what caused this huge dump. Together with this, we also saw the issue that, I don't know if it was confirmed to be true or it's still just a rumor, allegedly Wintermute and other market makers pulled their liquidity from the order book. So I know you mentioned this as well, Follis. So what ended up happening was, as price was falling, there were no buy orders to stop the fall. That's why we saw Atom go to 0.001 on Binance Spot, minus 99.98%. So what happens was, even if you were on cross leverage, or if you had a stop loss on any type of leverage, those stop losses wouldn't get triggered because there were no buy orders to be executed to get you out of that position. And that resulted in people getting liquidated on cross leverage because their stops didn't get hit. So it was really brutal. I don't really blame anyone if they got liquidated, because at first I was like, yeah, but if you had a stop loss, but no, apparently not even stop losses got triggered. So yeah, it was brutal. It was massive, especially for altcoins. And this brings me back to what I was saying for a long time, especially this cycle, that most alts are just there to wash volume and to rotate money from some guy to another. I don't actually think there are so many people trading altcoins. Like, who the fuck is trading, I don't know, OP at $0.5? And that's why there was no volume if the market makers pulled their liquidity from the order books, and that's why they crash so much, because it was all just a vaporwave at some point. But yeah, that's what I experienced. So, but BTC was fine. ETH was relatively fine. So was Sol. BNB put a new all-time high like 2 days afterwards. So these big players that I've been advocating about, these large caps that institutions are interested in, those are fine. Those are still doing well. I didn't hear about people getting liquidated on those. All the people that got, or most people that got liquidated on shitcoins or altcoins that don't do anything, are there just to move money from one side to the other. So yeah, those are my thoughts on what happened Friday. So it wasn't Trump, it was Trump that generated the dump, and then everything came like an avalanche with everything that happened. Also, I saw you wanted to talk about the insider from Hyperliquid. That's interesting, because I was talking to Tim today. He said it might not be an insider because he was trading on that account or a similar address for like a month. But then I saw someone report on X that exact Hyperliquid account was created on that day. And he kind of did short a huge amount of Bitcoin 10 minutes before the news came in that tariffs will be in place. And then he did close his short kind of at the bottom, or maybe him closing the short generated the bottom. So that's why I'm not sure. I've seen people call him an insider. I tend to agree with that. Some people even called him that it's Baron Trump. I don't think that's true, but yeah, it was crazy. So a lot of factors that played into this fall, and it was like a perfect storm of, let's say, negative aspects that led to such a dump. And that's why I think that, just like you said, Fall, is maybe the wick on those altcoins won't get filled, because it was such a black swan event. But it doesn't mean that you should buy those, because I think it showed us once again that most altcoins don't really mean anything or don't really do anything. I saw a post on X that night that This showed everyone that the true price of most altcoins should be minus 50% from here, and that was kind of true. So I'm still a BTC maxi, still believing that the only good altcoins to hold long term are Sol, BNB, ETH, and maybe XRP. So my view hasn't changed, it has just been reinforced. And I would love to talk about the chart for a moment, but I cannot share my screen for some reason. Perdu, how did you fix it?
What?
I don't know
just
why.
like in
Ah,
the
oh yeah,
yeah,
got it.
you got it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been saying this basically since we dumped, but BTC is looking good as hell. Why? Because we tapped a daily order block right here, and we fully swept range lows. We reclaimed daily the value low of the range. And now look, that value low of the range is holding us a support. And I mentioned in the beginning that the only other flash crash I've experienced was the one from the 4th of August 2024, right? And what did I do back then? I was still bullish overall because we were in the middle of the cycle. Now you can argue we're still in the end. But what I did was I drew the range, and every time we came and retapped range lows and then went back above the value area low, I bought BTC spot. So I bought here and here, and I think even here. So if you do the same play right now, I wouldn't buy right now when we're retapping the value area low a spot, maybe just as a trade. But like if we do something like this and then reclaim the value area low, that would be great. That would be really nice actually, a retest of range lows and then to reclaim the value area low. So overall, I think BTC is fine. But the only problem is that we saw how reactive the price is to news. Not even talking about the dump, just after the dump that we pumped on Monday because Trump said that he's still willing to discuss with China. And then we dumped today because China said that there will be harsh negotiations or something. So the market is still not decided. It's still ranging, and it's very susceptible to news. So my advice is to just trade this range post dump. We front run the equal lows at range lows. We have equal highs at range highs. So just trade this range until proven otherwise. And if you get any news, just try to time it with what the market is showing you.
I think ETH looks really good as well. Like it's basically trading at range low.
Yeah.
Like as long as I posted it this morning, as long as we hold 39.50, I think we're good to go for all-time highs again.
Yeah, I'm not sure about really all-time highs, but just it's good overall. Yeah, I agree with this. Yeah. Sol is also looking okay. Just looking at the fact that it's now retesting this range highs that I've had on my chart, which is not ideal, but yeah, and BNB, like I said, just put in a new all-time high. SFP did kind of dumped since then, but still, to have such a recovery, it's insane. So the big guys are still looking great. Altcoins, the small ones, not so much.
No.
Yeah, for sure. Are you trading anything at the moment? Are you looking to get into any positions? Do you have any alerts set?
Only the thing on BTC that I mentioned. If we retest 107k and then go back above 110k, I would plan to buy some BTC as a swing. But apart from that, not so much. Maybe ETH, but I'm not quite sure about that. Just like last time we had the flash dump, I was a BTC max and I bought BTC, so that's why I still want to keep that. I would have bought BNB, but shit was just too strong and it just made a new all-time high, so I had no opportunity for that.
Fact.
Okay, oh, actually, I see another coin, XRP. If by any means we start feeling the wick and XRP goes back to $2 at the value low of this range, that would be a great buy as well. So yeah, XRP at $2.
Vic, would you look at buying XRP spot, or would you just swing long it?
I will have to see like what the funding rate is, because I don't want to pay too much in funding if I do long it on perps. Also, another advice that I wanted to say but I forgot, because people got liquidated using cross leverage because their stops didn't get triggered. This is why I only hold 10% of my account in my perps trading portfolio, and the rest 90% is either in a cold wallet or in my funding wallet, because then even if you get such a dump, then you will only get liquidated from your like perps account, and the rest is fine. You won't lose all your account. So that's another safety measure that you can have when such crazy things happen.
Yeah, appreciate that, Victor. Thank you for your input. Just want to jump over to Osbra. Osbra, how are you viewing the altcoin market now? Like, how was your experience looking at the charts on Friday? And how are you viewing the altcoin market now? I want to transition into this next part of the conversation, just talk about the future of the altcoin market and kind of looking at predictions for Q4 and potentially how those predictions have changed from, the predictions that we were offering in the last few weeks.
Yeah. Hello, everyone, by the way. Sorry for being late to the roundtable. Regarding altcoins, I think it just gives a clear confirmation about how the big players, or what we call the smart money, is behaving. Basically, what happened on Friday, just as I said, just confirms that nobody's interested into altcoins except leverage traders or leverage degens, because most of them are not traders. Most of the guys who got liquidated are probably also just gamblers expecting crazy high returns. Why? Simply because, example, Atom, we talked about it. I don't know if it's fun or sad, but it went to 0.00 something. It definitely says that the order book is empty. There is no spot. There is no real buying interest on altcoins. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been smashed like Vic said, minus 70, 80, 90%, even 99 for some. So it just says, but it's still not the time to be risk on the altcoins. It's good for like intraday, day trading, scalps, etc. I'm not like taking that off the table, but for the rest, for long-term investment, it's still not the time, I guess. And talking about, okay, when is the right time then? I still stick to what I've been repeating over and over. When the rates are going to be low, the money is going to be cheap, and when the liquidity is going to flow from indices and major assets to the most risky assets. Something interesting. It's I don't know if there is any correlation, but altcoins can be similar to like, for example, the cards, collection cards. And right now the cards card prices are tanking, absolutely tanking. For example, I had some cards valued at like $2,000, and now they are worth like 200. Just to give an example, it makes you think about the altcoins market in terms of value. And usually, I'm talking about cards because you have a rotation, and this is what happened in 2019 to 2021. You had BTC indices, etc. Then you had altcoins, and then you had watches, Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and whatever. And it's the same if you look at some of the Rolex watches today. Like they went from like the base model went from 18K in 2021 to 7K today on the secondary market. Just saying, it says a lot. Money is still expensive, even though we had one rate cut and people are still expecting more. Money is still expensive, so people are still investing their money like in a smart way, I would say. So yeah, altcoins are still not the thing to invest your money in right now. I think you need to stick to majors, maybe the top 10, like you guys mentioned, Solana, Ethereum, and some other coins like that. But beside that, then yeah, I think I don't think altcoins are a viable investment right now. And I see Perry have a question. Go on,
Yeah,
make me
like
embarrassed.
no, not at all. No, the market is always forward looking, right? And
Yeah.
like we just saw the first rate cut last month. We're going into historically a time of like a big risk appetite on riskier assets. Like crypto is usually Q4 and Q1. What makes you think that it's not the time yet to buy altcoins? While everything is at all-time low at the moment. We just saw the biggest liquidation event in history, and while the tone is pretty dovish for now instead of being hawkish for now. Like I think we're going into a time where we see quantitative easing and rate cuts, right? Like the Fed has been hinting on a super dovish period. So what's your take on that?
Yeah, that's to be honest, that's a super interesting question. And I would say it depends how you behave as an investor or a trader. Are you trying to anticipate something or are you reacting to something and playing accordingly? I mean, if you anticipate that Q1, most likely around um, March, April, May, when the Fed is going to have a new chairman, are you anticipating what's going to happen in 6 months? And then yeah, I could argue that it's a right time to buy at cheap prices. Are you reacting? Personally, I like to react because it means I have my confirmations. So I prefer to wait to see the rate cuts coming in because with Powell, it's still uncertain. If the for now we have a government shutdown, so yeah, I cannot really talk with details. But we have no PPI, we have no CPI, we have no labor market data, we have nothing. So I'm talking blindly. What do you mean? Too late? No, not too late, Powell. Yeah.
No,
So
but that's what
it
I
just
meant to
depends.
say. That's what I meant to say with
Yeah,
my question is that
I get the joke.
the market is forward looking. So usually
Yeah,
things get priced in beforehand instead of waiting before the rate cuts take place and then buying stuff because we already
but
should
despite
reprice the things that are known in the future, right?
Yeah, but despite the fact that the market is forward-looking, the market is also reacting, and we saw what happened with the on Friday, right, on the Trump announcement with the potential geopolitics, geopolitical escalations. The market reacted.
Yeah,
Not only crypto, also the stock market. Stock market has been like spared a bit more than crypto because markets were closed right over the weekend. But
yeah,
still, S&P took a massive hit, Nasdaq took a massive hit. So the market is also reacting. So you have two positions. Once again, are you anticipating? And of course, you get much more rewards if you're trying to anticipate and you're right, because of course you take much more risk investing
risk. Yeah,
right
of
now
course. Yeah, that's
than
a good one.
yeah, than in March when the rates are going to be low. Probably altcoin prices will have like went up by then. So obviously, the more risk you take, the more rewards you get. But you also have people reacting, and this is what we got. This is the confirmation we got on Friday. Like if things start to be bad, if even if it's like I said on stream, I think it's an event. It doesn't open the gates of a bear market or whatever. I think just an event, just like it happened in May 2021. I don't remember what it was. Maybe the China ban on crypto. But if the market is scared, the market shows that it's scared, and people who bought like let's say maybe cheap Tao at $200, they probably got liquidated. Even though they had a
Yeah,
super nice entry at $200, they got liquidated, right? So personally, and I think now people start to understand, I like to be defensive. I like to be like very cautious with my capital, with my money. So I prefer to be on the reaction side and not trying to anticipate
prediction side.
something. Yeah, I prefer to be on the reaction, and I adapt to the conditions that are given.
Hmm.
But I also completely understand, and this time I'm not saying it's dumb or whatever, right? I completely understand that some people try to maximize the potential returns
Oh
they can
shit.
get, and they try to anticipate.
Yeah. Yeah, eat
I don't know if
BTC
is
just
the answer you were.
retested. Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, but from a chart perspective, it also looks kind of good at the moment, you know?
Yes,
Like we are at range
yeah,
low for
especially if
Ethereum. We just retested the yearly open for ETH BTC, which has been a big level, and we saw. I can share the chart in the in
yeah,
the
if
in the
is
in the
looking really
voice
good.
chat.
I don't know if
So
if you checked my chart this morning, but yeah, it's looking very good now.
yeah, it
I
looks
agree.
super clean, and I think the people that leveraged up on the bank holiday yesterday because it was a bank holiday, so liquidity was quite low. I think they got rinsed, and now is the time not to panic, but to start buying. Actually, 39.50 is a really big level for Ethereum, together with that ETH yearly open that just got tested. We had a super nice 4-hour hammer candle, and now we see super big volume coming in. So I think it's a good time to start building positions right here.
You don't think
And
that
maybe
BTC fills the wick, Purdue? You think the wick fillers or the partial wick fillers are going to be left sidelined?
usually it does, but this, I mean, with the COVID wick, we didn't like. Normally, I'm a big fan of the 50% wick fill, but also with COVID, we didn't tap into that 50% wick fill because it was such a huge, like you need such thin books like last Friday evening. I mean, yeah, of course they can do it maybe upcoming weekend, but I think it was a unique situation and they need a unique approach. So I'm not a I think if we hold 3950, we see all-time highs and max pain on Ethereum pretty soon, to be honest. Really, mark my words here.
When you say max pain, you mean ripping up?
Yeah, ripping up. Yeah, people are still gathering funds to trade again, and they see, they
Yes.
see it go higher and higher. Literally, yeah. I know it for myself, of course. So yeah, you want to get involved in this move, in my opinion. And I think the invalidation is super clear at 3950 and 112K for BTC. These have been the lines in the sand for a long time already. So yeah, I don't think it's the time to be bearish here.
That's awesome. Thank you for that input. I see we're kind of coming on to the end of the conversation here, and I want to just circle back a little bit. And for the last 5-10 minutes, just want to go around the panel, and if everyone could just give maybe one piece of advice to anyone who took a hit last Friday, or one thing that traders should be doing now, should be doing in the future. Maybe something behavioral, maybe something technical, something that you think is going to help people, and something that is going to help people not only avoid making this mistake in the future, if they made if they had a risk management error or something like that, but also just in terms of mindset, like how people should be trying to view things, to view what happened on Friday, try and turn it into a positive and kind of move forward from something like that. So I'm going to go to Jedi, the wisest among us, and just if you could sum it up maybe in 2 or 3 lines.
I don't know whether I'm the wisest, but maybe I've taken more pain than the rest of you. I think it comes down to realizing that you are in quite a unique and special place, that is this place here, in that there are a lot of brilliant minds, and you have access to them. You have taken the time, you've paid the money, and you are here now. And I think that for me is probably like the single biggest kind of like bonus that I have around all the advice and around all the information that's already out there. So reach out to the people that are in this Discord, to the analysts, to whoever you feel that you can connect with, and ask them whatever it is that you need to ask. I think that's probably the most left field perspective I can give on this thing. I think everything else you guys already know or you've heard, but just realize that you are in a very unique and special place that is this Discord and the community that is here. I've been in online communities for, trust me, longer than any of you. I've been doing multi-user dungeons since the late 80s, and I've never come across a community like this where people actually genuinely care about each other. So tap into that. It's here. And even though you are paying money for it, trust me, the money you're paying, it's effectively for free.
I appreciate that, man. I mean, that warms my heart to hear you say that, and I'm happy that you were able to give that advice to the members. And yeah, like as Jedi said, just echoing what he says, we're here to help. Like I really do, and I say this from the bottom of my heart. I really do want to see everyone in this Discord succeed. So if there's anything that we can do to help you, anything that we can be doing better, anything we can do to increase the value of their membership and increase the value of what you're getting in the server, just fucking let me know. I love criticism, I love feedback. So always feel free to hit me up. Purdue, one piece of advice for people, and I mean you're kind of coming at this from a experiential place because you did take a hit on Friday. I mean,
Yeah.
I
I
mean, and
mean,
you
don't
you
go.
offer a unique perspective. So like, what are you changing, and what would you advise your members to? What would you advise other members who took a hit to change?
Yeah, I mean, I've been discussing it with a lot of people in DMs already, but don't go too harsh on yourself. These things happen. It makes you rethink your strategy. Come back stronger, build slowly. Like, I've been in this game for 5, 6 years now, and it happened to me. This is the second time that it happened to me, actually. I think the first one was an Aptos trade where I didn't get fully liquidated, but also for a lot of money back in time. I mean, it's just money, and it's part of the game. You'll make it back. It's a cruel game, but don't go too harsh on yourself. Don't go dwelling in pain, and don't go dwelling that you're a loser or so. Yeah, the biggest guys got hit in the industry, so it's all part of the game.
Yeah, appreciate that, man. I think
Really
that's a good
stay
message.
positive. Yeah.
Yeah, just stay positive. I mean, the beautiful thing about this game is that it rewards people who just stick around and try and catch the next play, because you're always, I mean, it's crazy. There are life-changing opportunities in this game every day, every week, every month. You just got to stick around long enough to kind of to hit one out of the ballpark. And yeah, as Purdue said, lads, don't go too hard on yourselves. I mean, this was an unprecedented event. If you took a hit, if you're, even if you're still here today, if you're still logging in, take that as a win, because there's lots of guys who just gave up on Friday and they're never coming back. So, failure is a mindset thing. Osbra, one piece of advice, one parting piece of advice for traders who took a hit on Friday.
So to avoid repeating what has been said, I would say the most important, because you said it happened to you, it happened to Purdy as well, it happened to me before in 2020. The most important is that the next time it happens, you learn something from the last Friday. So the next time it happens, you don't take like a severe hit, or you don't take a hit at all. What's the most important is to use that experience as a lesson to grow as a trader, and to grow more importantly as a risk manager, because trading at the end of the day is not about buying or selling. Everyone can do that. It's about managing the risk, and I think it's something that traders who took a hit need to put on the first place for the next months to come.
Yeah, 100%. Love that. I think, yeah, take it easy, Purdue. Go take care. Go take care of the family.
Daddy stuff.
Daddy
Ciao,
stuff.
guys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, take it easy. Victor, wrap us up here. Take us home.
Yeah, I mean, my advice is the same quote that's been my favorite quote for some time now. You have to play the game like this. It's not about getting rich fast, it's about making sure you become rich. And this is why, for me, just trading perps has been the way to go, and it will still be the way to go. And I think it should be the way to go for everyone, especially now that I think we are towards the end of the cycle. I think the time to accumulate spot bags was a long time ago, not right now. And I think the best thing to do is be better at perps, be better with risk management, and try to grow your account that way. Also with prop firms, and take it slow, take it easy, because it doesn't matter if you become rich at 30 or 35 or 45 or 55. It just matters that you get there at some point. So even if you lost some money this Friday, maybe change something in your approach, or try to not to do the same mistakes again, but take it slow, and in the end you'll be there eventually if you do things right and don't try to rush them.
I love that. Yeah, appreciate that, Victor. And yeah, guys, I think that's it from us. I mean, the final point that I'll make, I'll just kind of try and wrap things up in it with a little bow here, is that, like, Friday was an unprecedented event. Lots of guys took a crazy hit. Okay, like Purdue said, try not to be too harsh on yourselves. And like Jedi said, right? We're all in this to fucking help you guys. Like, I love seeing people in this Discord succeed. I love seeing people, overcome adversity. And we've all been there before. We've all been, at rock bottom, and we all managed to kind of to fight back. And just because you took a hit on Friday, just because you got knocked back, just because you're 10, 20, 30, 40, 50% down, whatever it is, that doesn't mean your journey's over by any means. It just means that you've been diverted from the path a little bit. A backward step doesn't mean jack shit in the context of a mile-long journey, right? You just got to keep putting one foot in front of another, keep showing up, and good things will happen. But on that note, guys, we're going to wrap things up. Appreciate everyone for joining today. Thank you to all my very smart, very talented, very good-looking panelists for giving us their time today, and for giving us some insight on the market. As always, if you have any questions, please let us know in the chat. And yeah, lads, we're here for you. We're trying to do the best job we can. If you can think of anything that we should be doing better, any suggestions, any ideas, any comments, any concerns, anything like that, feel free to hit us up in DMs or use the one of the channels. We literally have an ideas and suggestions channel that people use from time to time. But I would love to see that even busier. I would love to see you guys letting us know how we should move forward with things, especially after a big event like Friday. But on that note, guys, we're going to call it there. Appreciate you guys joining. Take it easy, and we will see you around. We'll see you next week for sure for the next roundtable, and see you in the Discord later. Bye bye.